Why is Taylor Swift called the music industry? How did she get that title? What does it mean? And more importantly, why is it so accurate? If you're a Swiftie or want to know more about one of the industry's most powerful artists, then keep watching as we dive deep into Taylor Swift's career to figure out why this woman from a small town in Pennsylvania really is the music industry. Let's blast off and get started. JM in your universe. Konnichiwa friends, I'm Jonathan Miller and welcome back to Jonathan Miller Music, where we help each other become better artists. I make pop music and every Wednesday on this channel, I'm helping others take their music to level 2. If that sounds good, consider subscribing and ringing the notification bell, maybe giving this video a like and sharing it with a friend. My goal is to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of this year, so any interaction with this video, if you find it informative, helps me out a ton. If not, then I am about to enter my reputation era and it will be all over for you. Unless you subscribe. Think about that. All right, so let's discuss why Miss Taylor Allison Swift really is the music industry. Now, in case you might be new and you don't know who I am, I've covered Taylor Swift for many years and have been a longtime fan of hers since the very beginning. I've done many deep dives about her like this, both here on YouTube and on TikTok. It's actually what blew up my account over there. So if you would like to check out any of my videos about her, I've left a bunch of links in the description below for you, including my very detailed video about why she's re-recording her music. They're worth checking out because this video is gonna kind of assume that you understand what's going on with all of that. But anyway, like I said, I've covered Taylor Swift many times over the years for various reasons. But the main one is that, well, she's a very interesting case. Let's begin. In 2014, Barbara Walters included Taylor Swift on her list of 10 most fascinating people that year, quoting an article with the headline, "Taylor Swift is the music industry." Around this time, Taylor was fully transitioning from country music star to bona fide pop star, a move which had many people around the globe talking. While many people were on board with this impressive title, many were skeptical. She had already achieved 4 #1 albums, a string of now signature hits, and numerous massive tours at the time, but many were unconvinced. As many people know, with a woman's success comes sexist skepticism, something that Taylor of now will understand, pun intended, all too well. The country music industry is traditionally a conservative one, as you might expect. Country music is rooted in the southern United States and lyrically and sonically tends to reflect that culture and lifestyle. However, the centerpiece to any country music song is storytelling. Rich, clear descriptors that the listener can have no trouble imagining in their head and relating to. This is where teenage Taylor Swift initially made people turn their heads and pique their interests. Even though she was signed to a small independent label, she was authentic and writing honestly about her experiences in a fearless way that many people in 2006 were not accustomed to hearing from someone at such a young age. Usually, adults laugh at teenage subject matter in music, but with hits like Tim McGraw and especially Teardrops on My Guitar, Taylor Swift's knack for storytelling got people's attention and kept it. The connection between country and pop music has always been strong when, historically, pop music evolved from country music. Taylor herself would never claim to be the first artist to successfully float between both worlds, when only a few years prior, Shania Twain was dominating both airwaves, prior to Taylor's Teardrops on My Guitar getting a pop remix and being serviced to pop radio. Country music actually often gets played on pop music, especially in the 2000s, because in terms of songwriting structure, they're very similar. The main difference, especially at this time, has to do with instrumentation. Country music favors acoustic and traditional instruments like the banjo, piano, the acoustic guitar, the dobro, the fiddle, drums, and more. Pop music, however, offers a bit more freedom in terms of sonic design to do really whatever the artist wants to do or what's popular at the time, across various styles and formats, because it's a genre designed for the masses, which is why you could turn on pop radio in the mid-2000s and hear a country song, a pop song, a rock song, a hip-hop song, an R&B song, and an electronic song, and none of it would sound really out of place. This worked out great for Taylor because pop radio wanted her music, fans were requesting it. She was young and represented a lot of what teenagers at the time were going through, unapologetically. Her lyrics had this magical power of captivating progressive youthful minds, while sonically her music still appealed to her more conservative and evangelical-leaning original fan base. But play both sides long enough and somebody's eventually gonna want you to choose a side. As time grew on, Taylor drew criticism for not being outspoken politically, something that even her traditionally no politics in music country demographic didn't even like. She attracted repeated heat from the media about her love life, her relationships, her friendships, her clothes, anything that people could pick apart about her, they did, and more disturbingly, they enjoyed it. Fans watched over the years as Taylor Swift's quiet kindnesses quickly got eclipsed by reported scandals, snake emojis, offensive memes, sexism, and tweets, all trying to take this woman down. Try to please everyone, and no one ends up happy. They criticized her writing, so she responded with her album Speak Now, which is entirely composed by herself alone, something that for an artist of her caliber does not happen very often. She got played both in pop music circles and country music circles so often that both demographics eventually got really confused when she dropped her album Red, which was chaotic, musically confusing, yet captivating and masterfully executed at the same time. She had popular hits on both sides of the coin, but people really expected her to go full pop. So when people said she didn't belong in country music anymore, she made a very controversial decision to release her album 1989, officially shedding her skin of her original country sound. While nowadays 1989 is widely regarded as a defining pop record of the 2010s, this decision initially back then did not make very many people happy. Prior to hearing any of her new music, many Swifties worried about the loss of her storytelling, a topic that still divides them to this day with songs like Out of the Woods. Because at this time, dance pop music was so popular and criticized for being inauthentic. Eventually, the topic of Taylor Swift got so bad that even when she tweeted out her support in 2016 for the victims of the Manchester bombing, her replies were filled with anger, disbelief, sarcasm, and people shouting at her to just go away. So she did. For over a year, no one heard or saw Taylor Swift until she dropped her music video for Look What You Made Me Do, a satirical take on the popular belief that Taylor Swift, quote, played the victim. In fact, one headline in particular read, "Taylor Swift can't play the victim and the villain," following this comeback. People were mad at Taylor Swift, and they were also mad that she was no longer allowing them to bully her. Taylor Swift's Reputation era took every last weapon that was used against her and flipped the script, ultimately empowering her. During her year of silence, a video was posted by Kim Kardashian of what appeared to be Taylor Swift agreeing to a certain lyric in a Kanye West song, which, when Taylor voiced her opposition when the video got leaked and tried to tell her side of the story, of course, no one believed her. Until many years later when the full video resurfaced and got leaked online, proving that Taylor Swift was unaware of the original lyric, forcing many to take back a lot of the words that they had said about her, which of course, many people to this day still have not done. But over time, Taylor was able to rebuild her entire career and public trust by biding her time and ultimately doing the very thing she started her career off doing: telling the truth. While the rise and fall and rise again of pop stars isn't unfamiliar to people like Britney Spears, for example, why does that warrant calling Taylor Swift the music industry? Well, it's partially because of her story in truth-telling, but it's also because of the things that she's done that rarely get spoken about, because she herself doesn't really call attention to them. Taylor Swift has a very long history of doing good deeds in silence. She's advocated for higher royalty payouts from Apple Music. She negotiated her recent contract with Universal Music Group so that all UMG artists earn money from UMG's shares in stock in Spotify, which is practically an unheard of move for an artist to negotiate. She donated $10,000 to a fan battling cancer. She donated $70,000 worth in books to a library in her hometown back in 2011. She's helped numerous times to pay off part of her fans' student loan debts. She donated $250,000 to Kesha in her sexual assault lawsuit against Dr. Luke. Taylor helped an 8-year-old boy with autism get a service dog. She quietly sent her own version of stimulus checks to her fans when the COVID-19 pandemic began, and so much more in the background. She does these things without being asked, without much of a second thought, and is actually part of the reason she's re-recording her first 6 albums. In her 15-year career, Taylor Swift built an entire empire, watched it crumble to the ground overnight, and rebuilt it again into a shiny new empire that doesn't really even feel like one. She calls the shots on her own creative projects. She essentially answers to herself now and can release anything she wants whenever she wants to, dropping 2 entire full-length studio albums within 5 months of each other, a re-recorded version of her song Wildest Dreams just because it was trending on TikTok, and she has rebuilt relationships with people that many believed to be her enemies at one point. Nowadays, when Taylor Swift drops or says anything, everyone pays attention. Her special brand of comical pettiness also hasn't been lost to time either. For example, on Scooter Braun's birthday, the person who purchased her master recordings, she chose to announce the release date of her album Red, Taylor's version, to send a message that she's still gonna do whatever she wants. That re-recorded version of Wildest Dreams didn't drop only because it was trending on TikTok. She also did it because in doing so, every time she releases her re-recorded material, her originals lose value, which meant a lot less money in Scooter Braun's pocket. Her fans eat up everything she does because they too have been through the ups and downs with her. And by telling her truth over the years, she's earned everyone's trust, even if she had to wait a while for it to come out. Taylor is now in full command of her entire career, doing whatever she wants and having fun with it. And because her fans stuck with her, she doesn't want to waste their money or their time. So she adds value to everything that she's doing, which is beneficial for her too, because it means that her time spent re-recording her material isn't wasted. Re-recorded albums going #1 is not a common thing, unless it is some type of greatest hits record. There aren't many artists in the industry that have total creative control like Taylor Swift does now. And while many of her original conservative fan base may still harbor a little bit of resentment to her for leaving the genre, she is starting to be well received by them again, because her authenticity broke grounds on both sides of this equation. Even though in a lot of ways, she has proudly chosen a side. She stands in her truth as an adult, just like she did as a teenager. She's openly changed her mind on things, but never actually lost what made her special. Taylor Swift is now a commander that can bend the landscape to her liking in a way that doesn't really feel disingenuous, but more so empowering and fun, because it is in her constant state of telling the truth that she's earned the respect of the entire world. And that is why Taylor Swift truly is the music industry. So that is my video on why Taylor Swift is the music industry. Question of the video, what is your favorite Taylor Swift album of all time? Leave me a comment below letting me know. If you want to check out my deep dive video about why Taylor Swift is re-recording her masters, or even check out my reaction to hearing Fearless for the first time, I've left some links in the description below so you can do so. But if you really like me and like what I do, consider joining me on Patreon like Melanie here and all these fantastic people to get all sorts of fun rewards, including access to my YouTube calendar to see what's coming to the channel. But as always, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like on it and subscribe if you're new. I put out new videos every single Wednesday. Once again, I'm Jonathan Miller, and I will see you next time. See you later.
I am a machine, not a robot, not a operation electronically. My messages are